Hey, YouTube, Scarpads domain. How's everybody doing? With yes, finally another James Bond review. This time, finally doing Moonraker from 1979. Now, back in 1979, this wasn't supposed to be out. It was supposed to be for your eyes only. But a little film called Star Wars made a splash at the box office, and all of a sudden, space was in. So James Bond, he's going to fucking motherfucking space. And this movie came out in 1979. Now, this had a budget of $34 million, roughly double what the cost of The Spy Who Loved Me was. But it took in $210 million at the box office and became, to that point, the biggest money-making James Bond film of all time. Coming back, of course, was Roger Moore, this time being joined by Lois Childs as Holly Goodhead, another great name for for a girl scientist in a Bond movie. And returning, of course, was Richard Kiel playing Jaws. He was so popular in The Spy Who Loved Me, they brought him back. This time, James Bond is investigating the theft of a space shuttle. Remember those, the space shuttle? Well, they hadn't even flown back in 1979, but they were just getting ready to launch. So the space shuttle gets stolen. And on the way to to investigate what's going on, he goes to California, finds this multi-millionaire industrialist called Hugo Drax, who is the guy who's building the space shuttle. Along the way, we end up in Venice, chasing after nerve gas, and eventually we wind up in outer space. So to talk about all of that, I'm going to bring in my co-host and another lover of James Bond, Dylan. How you doing, Dylan? Dylan's always well.
What up, brother?
Dylan, we're finally doing Moonraker, man. Can you believe it?
I can believe it.
Now, this movie was directed by Lewis Gilbert. I think it was his last James Bond movie that he did, directing it. The screenplay was by Christopher Wood. We had John Barry returning on the music, and the music was great in it. And we had Michael Lonsdale as Hugo Drax. Richard Kiel, of course, was Jaws in the movie, and this movie, of course,
coming back,
and because Star Wars was so huge, we had to get James Bond into outer space. On the way there, he gets trapped inside the simulator in a great scene where the Chang, Drax's henchman, is trying to kill him, and then of course in Venice, he gets a little boat chase between Jaws and the canals, which winds up with Bond going through Venice in a hovercraft. And then eventually he trails Drax into orbit and finds that he has a huge space station unknown to anybody down below, where he's trying to bring the best representatives of the human race so he can kill everybody with a nerve gas that James Bond discovers in Venice. And of course, James Bond has to thwart that plan. And I tell you, I saw this movie when it came out in 1979, fresh off of coming off of Star Wars 2 years. I love this movie. Now, movie, what's that?
You saw it in theaters?
Saw it in theaters in 79.
Love
the movie. This came out the same year as Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Came out a couple of years after Close Encounters, Star Wars. Space was big. We had Battle Beyond the Stars. We had Last Starfighter. We had all that stuff in the theater. And here comes James Bond into outer space. This movie really deviated from the novel of Ian Fleming's quite a bit, to the point where they had somebody write a standalone paperback edition of this movie because it really was a totally different movie than what Ian Fleming wrote in the original novel. This movie has some great fights with Chang there, that glass factory where they're destroying everything. It had some stuff. This was the first movie, and you can comment on this, where we start getting a lot of product placement. Well, this movie cost a lot of money, but Bond opens up a drawer. There's Marlboro cigarettes. Bond goes down the road. There's 7-Up signs and United Airlines signs, all sorts of stuff. But that doesn't bother me all that much. But we also had some very, as we should say, kind of corny, off the wall stuff. We get things like him going through the desert and going through the West on the horses, and they play the Marlboro Man music. We had, when he's coming out of the water in the hovercraft, we have that double shot of the pigeon looking at him. We get the same guy that was inspired Love Me Drinking. We had him drinking here again on the thing and looking at his thing. So we get some goofy stuff in this. Jaws gets a little goofier. He gets a babe. He gets a girl in this. Now, originally, they were gonna have a huge woman play Jaws' girlfriend. And he said, "No, wait. His wife was about the height of the woman they picked. So why not go?" He picked a shorter woman, and it kind of worked out. But they made Jaws more of a partner in this and less of a. But I think it kind of worked. And man, this movie had some fantastic set designs by Ken Adams. All that stuff in space, the launch hangar, unbelievable. I mean, vast sets. So what did you? This was your first watching. What did you think of Moonraker?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I watched like the opening, like a week ago, and I thought that was pretty damn badass. I was really hooked.
With a parachute, getting the parachute off Jaws, off of the guy there.
I was definitely surprised to see Jaws back in it, obviously, because you never see these villains get a part two. I feel like
Jaws was hugely popular. So
yeah, but definitely cool to see him come back. At least to see some popular villains come back, because I loved From Russia with Love's villain, and like the hat guy in gold.
Yeah, Goldfinger,
yeah. So we've gotten some great guys. But yeah, dude, I definitely enjoyed it. Those freaking space scenes were great. The women in this were gorgeous. The freaking girl that even Jaws gets is freaking a hot babe, man. I was like,
I think the woman that played Holly Goodhead, the main woman, her acting skills was a little,
yeah,
but she was okay though.
I was just too busy looking at her. I didn't even care about the acting. But yeah, the two blondes in this were fucking great looking. I was, really looking forward to seeing the space scenes in this, and the space shuttle and everything, and the space station, and the set designs they look fantastic, man. They really looked great, and I'd say this and what was it? I keep forgetting. It's not. Is it Live and Let Die? What was the last one?
Spy Love Me.
Spy Love Me. These are definitely my two favorite Roger Moore movies, without a doubt.
So far, the two favorite ones.
Yeah, these would be my two favorite Roger Moore movies, without a doubt. I really loved Spy Who Loved Me, and this one.
I think these two are probably the high point.
Yeah.
No, he has other good movies. The other ones are good, but I think these
dude,
these are probably my two favorite.
I've loved all these. I've loved all these movies.
I think my two favorite.
It would be very hard for me to be like, oh, this one, that, because I've been having a blast watching all these movies. So
and Roger Moore's really getting into his own with some of the quips in this. All the one-liners he gives after he dispenses with somebody. I like Hugo Drax too. He was an okay villain. He was a little stuffy, but I like the dogs. He had those two dogs. I love how he snaps his fingers and he gets the dogs to eat, and he chases them after the girl there and sends them. And the whole scene where he's out shooting pigeons there, shooting whatever, and Bond's shooting. He goes, "Oh, you missed." He goes, "Oh, did I?" And the fucking guy falls out of the tree. He shot the guy who was trying to kill him. That was a great scene. We didn't get a lot of Q in this one. We got a little bit. We did get the scene. Although we got the scene in his laboratory where they're testing all those funky gadgets. The guy that splits in half and becomes a machine gun, and the lasers. And we got a little bit of Moneypenny and M. This was the guy who played M. Bernard Lee. This is his last film. He actually died shortly after this film came out. So this is the last time.
Who did Q?
M. Bernard Lee is his boss.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought you said Moneypenny for a second.
Yeah, Moneypenny's still in this, but Q, this is M. This is his last film. The guy who played M, and we get a different M.
You did say that. I thought it was last one, that you said that, but that you were probably mentioning that
Yeah,
this was going to be his last because didn't he get sick in real life?
yeah, yeah.
No, but
Uh,
it'll be interesting to see who takes over for him.
well, I think they have a fill in that Freddie Gray guy fills in for like one movie, and then they get a new guy to play him in the following movie. Um, but it is interesting that they did shelve the movie that was supposed to come out in favor of Moonraker, and it really worked out for him because this movie, as I said, made $210 million, the most of any Bond film up to that time. We also had, in the music wise, we had Shirley Bassey come back, who did the songs in Goldfinger, and she did the song in Moonraker. So that was pretty decent. Um, but yeah, just the whole I love the whole space stuff. Once they get to the point where they're in the space shuttle and they're going up and you see that big space station, and and we get that typical confrontation in the space station where all the space marines comes out. Luckily, once again, wearing a different color spacesuit, so we can identify who's who. They're in the silver, the bad guys are in the orange. That does help out things. And then we get the scene where he gets rid of Drax with the little underarm thing they shot the speed thing with. But then where they have to go, a big Star Wars ending where they had to go in. I love it where they get the laser crypt shuttle and they have to go space, follow down a thing that's going to poison the atmosphere and kill everybody on Earth, and you're going down. So that's a great scene in the movie. But yeah, I mean, other than that, what's some of your favorite highlights of the film? There, do you have any special scenes that you like?
I definitely, like I said, I love that opening. Um, what was the one? There's that one. I'm trying to think. There's that one set where it was like, damn, it's like I can't think of it for a second. I can't describe it. There's that scene though where it was almost like those rocks and like the water fountain and the two blonde girls were coming out. I'm trying
Right.
to it was almost like a little layer, but
Yeah, where they go in that's when he's going to the Amazon to look for the
yeah,
source of the he's going in for the nerve gas, that special orchid and he finds Drax's lair, and
yeah,
that's when they get taken out, and that's was his launch pad, and then that's when he put him under the rocket. They were gonna burn him up under the rocket there.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
thought that set design was fucking awesome, dude. And I just loved a bunch of that stuff with the space scenes. And I thought one of the funniest scenes though is like when Roger Moore was just like, "Hey Jaws, we're gonna need a little help, like disengaging the ship," and then the little hot number Jaws has got like whispers in his ear,
Right.
like, "We're gonna go, save the day now," and Jaws like kind of turns good. I just thought that was like hilarious, dude. I just thought,
Well, and then as the space station is falling apart, they find a bottle of champagne, and we get the only thing he says in the whole movie, which is "Here's to us."
yeah,
That's the only line he had in both films.
that's
Here's to us.
crazy.
Here's
Yeah,
to us.
Jaws was great, man.
Yeah.
Dude,
And he survived because he got shot out in the little lifeboat there, so he did survive. Unfortunately, he never did come back for another movie, but would have been interesting if they brought him back. But yeah, the whole sequence was really good, and I thought the special effects, given that it was 1979, wasn't bad. The space battle and the music, I love the music when
the
John
music was
music
really good.
when they're in space and all the lasers are going off and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, and the fucking atmosphere and the space shuttle and the suits, those were really good. Those look nice. I thought they really went all out for this, man. You said how much was the budget?
34 million, so it was double Spy Who Loved Me, and it's the highest to date. But
I wonder
took
how
it. It also took in 210 million.
'cause
So
this was after the first Star Wars, A New Hope. I wonder how much
yes,
How much A New
I
Hope
don't know how
like,
much.
you know,
Probably.
just to compare, like if
Well,
they
New Hope could have been done cheaper because George Lucas back
yeah.
then. He
Yeah,
did
he
things
I
on the
just
cheap.
knew, yeah.
Yeah,
I could probably
everything was done on the cheap really back then. But
yeah, but yeah, 34 mil back then was a lot. So
it was a lot a lot for a Bond movie too. So
yeah,
um,
let's see how much was in there paid for. 11 million estimated. So wow, they put a
Yeah.
lot more into Moonraker, but obviously 007
Yeah,
was established, and this
yeah,
was
3 years later, and I'm sure a lot of it went for salaries. Roger Moore, I'm sure, wasn't cheap.
yeah,
And back then, everybody that was in Star Wars was an unknown, so they didn't pay
right,
them. They paid
exactly,
them nothing.
yeah, exactly.
So,
So they were putting most of their money. They would put the probably highest paid actor was Ben Kenobi. You know what I mean? Um, what the heck is his name in real life? The original Ben Kenobi.
Obi-Wan, yeah,
Alec
Alec
Guinness.
Guinness. I'm sure he
Yeah,
got the most money. I'm sure
yeah,
because he was
he would
the
have got the most money.
most established guy.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought Roger Moore was definitely great as Bond in this one. I feel like he's really coming to his own in these last two movies. And he's just more, suave with the ladies.
Hmm.
It's definitely, he's created his own where it's not like, and I'm not thinking about, Sean
Right,
Connery.
right.
I felt like he kind of really made his own in these last two Bonds. And
Yeah, exactly. In the first one, you kind of felt like Live and Let Die. Kind of felt like they were really. The movie was probably written for Sean Connery, and
exactly.
Roger Moore was in it because he was trying to be Sean Connery to the
Yep.
point where he even had darker hair. They made him dye his hair black, and he's really more blonde
Right.
than that. And he wore darker stuff, and now he's wearing white because white looks better. And
Yeah.
he's a lot taller than Sean
He's
Connery.
got that lighter
He's a
complexion.
he's a bigger guy,
Yeah,
and and he, I think he finally came into his own in like the last two movies.
definitely.
You know,
Yeah, no, like you said, he's got the lighter hair, lighter complexion. He's got that darker skin too.
right,
He's a lot tanner, so black definitely looks better on him.
right,
But it's cool seeing, it's cool to see a white suit on Bond. I think he pulls it off great, like you
right.
said.
Yeah, and then we get that scene in the cable car where the Jaws is jumping down, and he uses his belt to slide down, and Jaws go faster, faster, and he goes through the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Nothing kills that guy. He just goes.
Oh my God. Does he ever come back again?
No, he doesn't come back,
Bummer.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
How many more Roger Moores do we have?
we have quite a few more.
Really?
They go on and on. But yeah, I just thought this one was really really good. I could overlook a lot of the product placement that got put in it.
Yeah.
I don't know. My favorite scene in the movie, I would have to say, is definitely the outer space battle. I mean, I just love the whole scene. It was just done so well, and it was because you didn't see too much of that stuff back in the 70s and 80s.
Right.
And obviously, it's obviously they wanted to go after the Star Wars crowd, but they made a good movie, and that's
It's
what I
not
think
like
is
they were just
important.
trying to.
And they made a decent Bond movie too, I think.
They weren't just trying to. Obviously, they took the
Right.
space because of Star Wars, but they weren't just like, we're gonna just do this because of Star Wars and just not care about the script. Like, it was still a good movie.
Right.
But yeah, dude, it's crazy. We got onto box set 2, man, with Moonraker. So what do we got? For Your Eyes Only, Octopussy, A View. What's his last one? Living Daylights?
No, View to a Kill.
View to Kill. So
we
what
got
we got?
three
For
more.
Your Eyes Only, Octopussy, and A View to Kill. So we got 3 more Roger Moore.
3 more Roger Moores, yeah. And after this movie, which was way out, they want the last two really. You had Spy Love Me, where the villain was trying to like take over the Earth and have an underwater kingdom. This guy is having a space station. He wants to kill everybody on Earth and have his own people. So they wanted to bring it down to Earth. So the next movie, we get we get a more conventional spy thriller. Going after bad guys who have stolen a certain device, and we have a lot. This really has almost no gadgets in the next movie. They really, really wanted to bring him back down to the Dr. No, Goldfinger era. So this is really Roger Moore's really spy adventure with doesn't have a lot of that.
This is like his Dr. No. You're basically
but it's a good movie. It's directed by John Glenn, who John Glenn will do the next several movies. He's the editor on these. He's taken over, and he's the guy who does a lot of the action scenes, the second unit guy. So he directs this
really?
one. This one had the next one has a huge song. It was a huge song on the radio, and you'll see it actually has one of the only really big references to Bond being married in Her Majesty's Secret Service, and we also bid goodbye forever to Blofeld in the next movie. So
no way.
So it'll be an interesting see how you feel about that.
Yeah.
So so the next movie we're gonna be watching is For Your Eyes Only, and we'll probably get to that in about 6 months. So
you wanted to take a break too.
That's true. We wanted to get through.
We only decided to watch Moonraker last weekend. It was only Monday and Tuesday, and I had stuff.
We wanted to get through the holidays, and
we were saying we're going to watch Moonraker
and take some time off. So the only thing we're really doing through that
with Thanksgiving, we took some time off.
Right. The only thing we're doing through the holidays is this, and we're doing the top 10 horror movies at some point. So.
Well, maybe I'd like to still try to maybe do Jack Frost with you or something. We do a quick little 20. We can do a quick little 20-minute review.
But so overall, I love this James Bond movie. It's on my list of probably if I'm going to do at the end of it when we get done in 5 or 10 years with all the movies. We'll do one show we're going to give our top 10 Bond movies. And we have even gotten into
tough, man.
We have even gotten to Timothy Dalton. We have even gotten to Pierce Brosnan. Right. We have even gotten to Daniel Craig. That'll be rough, but we'll get there eventually. Maybe I'll change my mind in those movies.
Dude, we went super strong. We really only took a break in between that's true. The last one and Moonraker. Like we went strong. So a break was needed, man. You need a little refreshment.
It's a big franchise.
It really is.
This is what 20, I think what is it, 25 movies?
Yeah.
I think 25 or 26 movies in the entire franchise. The only franchise I think that's big is Godzilla.
Yeah.
Godzilla's had like 30 movies.
And I mean, all the movies are 2 hours long or more, a couple are a little longer, but most are 2 hours,
2 hours or so, yeah.
I think the only one that's longer is for Her Majesty's Secret Service. Maybe some Daniel Craig one.
I think so, yeah. Which one is longer is that fucking.
Those get pretty long, I know.
The Spectre is a fucking like 2.5 hour beast.
Yeah. So those will be looking forward.
Those I might be watching in a couple of sittings there.
Yeah.
And it's we'll go into when we watch Daniel Craig. Yeah. I feel bad for some of Daniel Craig because I think Daniel Craig was a great Bond. Just I think the writing wasn't great, but too bad.
Some people really love a couple of his movies, like Casino Royale.
Yeah, I like Casino Royale. That's about it.
Yeah, I forget. Some people really seem to love No Time to Die, though. It got like high praise on Rotten Tomatoes, even though I don't fucking really listen to them at all. I don't give a shit what they say, but
I don't know. It wasn't probably the worst Daniel Craig.
The thing is, a lot of people do like that Rami Malek guy. I'm not a fan of him.
Well, the other thing is, too, a lot of people started watching James Bond with Daniel Craig, and only that's the only experience they have. They don't know any of these other movies. They didn't go back and watch these old movies.
I watched his first couple, and that was really it.
I guess if you don't know anything about James Bond and you started with Daniel Craig, his movies kind of make sense. And they are kind of a reboot.
Yeah.
Because when Bond gets going in Casino Royale, it's really his first time being James Bond.
Right. Yeah.
But I think what hurt them, what the thing they did, and we'll get into this when we go into it, is that they had Judi Dench, who was M in the Pierce Brosnan movies. And then they brought her back for Daniel Craig.
Really?
So it's hard to say it's complete reboot.
Right.
When you got the same woman playing him, they should have just
it's kind of a similar thing from Sean Connery to Roger Moore and all that.
But those weren't reboots. Those were a continuation.
Right.
They
No, it
intended.
kind of feels like that, where you could almost say that Pierce Brosnan could be a continuation to
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan was, and so was the other ones. It was Daniel Craig's that was supposed to be the
a
reboot.
reboot.
The
Okay.
reboot where he's a brand new James Bond. This is the beginning of his career, and
Oh,
they should have just cut ties with everybody
right.
and just not brought back anybody from any of the previous
Yeah.
films. But they
Yeah.
didn't do that.
I think I only saw GoldenEye and then
Yeah,
like the Halle Berry Pierce Brosnan one.
Yeah.
Those are the only two I've seen.
yeah. So
And then the rest would be like the first two, maybe three. I think I maybe saw the first, what, maybe first three Daniel Craig ones, but I don't. I think I saw up to Spectre or something. I don't know.
yeah,
It's Skyfall, not Spectre.
Skyfall, yeah.
I never watched Spectre.
Actually,
Spectre has Batista in it and Christoph Waltz, I think.
yeah. Christopher Waltz is in a couple of them, I think.
Yeah, Christoph Waltz is normally really good, but I hear he's okay in those.
Yeah, we'll tell you who he's playing. So
Doesn't he play Blofeld?
yeah, he does play Blofeld.
I've had a feeling. I mean, I figure you gotta if you're gonna get him, but I don't see him as a Blofeld.
Yeah.
I don't see him as a Blofeld.
All right, so what
we got him for though?
So final thoughts on Moonraker, I guess, as far as overall. You said you gauge this in between Spy Who Loved Me and Moonraker. What would be which one?
Damn, that's tough. It's kind of not, but it's like they're two totally different movies in a way.
Yeah,
what do you like?
I get the edge of Spy Who Loved Me. I like that movie a lot.
I
love it because it's at sea. I love all the submarine stuff.
Yeah. Overall, the whole movie, I think I'd say The Spy Who Loved Me. This one had a lot of fun aspects with stuff, like the ending and the space scenes. That was like, it seemed like Roger Moore let a little more loose and was like a little kind of more like.
Yeah, it was definitely a lighter movie.
More one-liner jokes in this than he normally. I felt like he was a little funnier in this than he's normally been in the last couple.
Right.
But yeah, I'd probably give the edge to Spy Who Loved Me. But I had a blast with this as well. These last two were great. Like I said, man, I've been having a blast with these, and we're gonna keep trucking on. If it might take us a little bit, but we'll get it done.
Yeah, I think what we're gonna do too is we are going to stay chronological.
Yeah.
So the next movie came out in 1981, For Your Eyes Only.
Okay.
Octopussy came out in 1983. I think A View to a Kill came out in 1985. So when we get to Octopussy, I think we're going to do Connery's Never Say Never Again.
Oh, that
the following week, because it's 1983, and we're gonna shoehorn that right in there and review that one.
Might as well. No point to do it like at the very end.
Right, we'll do it in continuity. Yeah, we'll do Connery's last movie.
Yeah, I'd rather do it then than after we've done Daniel Craig's and stuff. Yeah, I don't. Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's as you said before, it's basically Never Say Never Again was basically a remake of Thunderball.
Yeah,
that got changed.
Try to get Perry on for that one.
It got changed. It got changed a little bit, but
yeah. Perry said Thunderball was his favorite one, so we'll have to make sure he comes on for that one. Yeah. I know it's hit. Sometimes he hasn't been able to come on all these, but maybe if we tell him that one's like Thunderball, I think he'll definitely want to join.
All right, so that's our review of Moonraker. I'm glad we finally got it out there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, this is probably going to drop right around the holidays, around Christmas, New Year's. So
nice little Christmas gift for y'all.
Yeah, everybody have a nice holiday. Have a good Christmas. Have a good New Year's.
Yeah.
And keep open for some stuff. We got some more movies come out. We're finishing some Christmas movies over on Dylan's channel that we may or may not, will probably be out by the time you watch this.
Yeah.
And then keep an eye open for our top 10 horror movies, which will be coming out by the end of the year sometime. And
always be looking out for your Scarpad's awesome Star Trek.
Yeah, I'll be dropping more shorts on my channel. Drop shorts every day usually.
Oh yeah.
And I got a review up. I just dropped one today on review on Gene Roddenberry's Quester tapes. I did a little review on one in the short.
That looked really good too, man.
So,
That looked good. That looked really creepy.
Yeah, so go ahead and check that out, and check Dylan's channel out. My man Dylan just recently got monetized, so he's in the money, baby. Drop him a super chat or two, maybe.
Hell yeah.
And
You're next, brother.
That way you can afford to pay those Blu-ray bills. All right, man. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate it. You stopping by, take your time out. Thank you all for going ahead and joining us tonight. We will see you coming up in a couple of weeks. Take us out with some balloons, Dylan, you motherfucker.
I don't know what's up with it, bro. Hey, you got him. You had him. Motherfucker. You son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch.